courtroom with a sea of emotions once again, and forensic death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan and crime analyst Lisa Lockwood back with me to break that and more down. Lisa, how would a jail battery incident from 9 months after the shooting play into the aggravating factors in this case?
Certainly showing what his state of mind continues to be well after the fact, that he has an aggressive personality, he wants to hurt people, if not continue to kill somebody, because if you were able to hold on to that taser, what could have happened? Here's the kid that, remember, said, oh, you have to double tap. He wants to end people's lives. So if he continued with the taser on that officer and continued, that would open him up to pummeling him, hitting him, beating him about the head before anybody was able to come in and actually save him. So certainly, yes, the state of mind after the fact, zero remorse, angry, demonic, evil individual, and we can't expect any kind of rehabilitation if he were to go in jail for life.
So after seeing that, Lisa, why would the defense bring up the point of a taser being a non-lethal instrument?
Yeah, well, what they're trying to say is that he had no risk of dying, which is a ridiculous assertion. Because as I mentioned, if he was hit with his own taser and he was repeatedly hit with the taser, Nikolas Cruz had an opportunity to pummel him, to do a lot more damage. Because this officer would be incapacitated. So the fact that it weighs less than a stapler, it means nothing at all.
Lisa, what is your insight on that?
My biggest insight is officer safety. So the fact that he was able to disarm this officer, that it was so easy for him to hit the switch and take that weapon from the officer. I mean, all of our duty weapons have a safety. So if you are on the ground and you are being pummeled, that they have an extremely difficult time disarming an officer. So the fact that came out so easy, that's another safety issue that they're going to have to look at to protect anyone that's carrying a taser.
Absolutely just heartbreaking to hear this. And Lisa, what can you tell us about the fatal wounds? Do they sound intentional to you based on where they happened?
You bet. He knew, he did his research. He knew that he had to shoot these people, the children, at least twice, a minimum of twice, in order to have the deaths. He was looking at the death toll, and he wanted to exceed other mass murders numbers. And in order to do that, he knew at a minimum he needed to double tap. That's something that's trained in police work. When you want to stop a deadly threat, police officers always fire twice. It's taught, you're trained on it. He knew what that was. And for him to be able to ensure that he was going to get the numbers that he wanted, he fired 150 rounds. We know killing 17, injuring 17, and how many bullets hit those people out of the 150 rounds? I would imagine quite a few, as exhibited by the description of this autopsy. It's just horrendous.
So according to Dr. Sneed, it can be inferred that the shooter injured Peter Wang enough to have fall to the ground and then shot him at close proximity in the head and the face. How does this go to the aggravating factors in this case, Lisa?
Well, it does. The aggravating factor is this is not somebody who was out there to injure people. It was somebody who was planning to murder, and to murder in high numbers. Without a doubt, you have somebody who was injured, and he gave the final execution shot to the head to ensure that he was going to get the count that he wanted. You better believe it. I mean, I wish I was on that jury, quite honestly.
Now, Lisa, the jurors, they will have a chance to visit the school next week, and we are suspecting that the prosecution will use this tour as the grand finale to their case. And with all the blood and the broken glass still preserved, how might this give the jurors an everlasting thought about the shooting? Give me 20 seconds here.
Yes, they've certainly seen video already. They've heard evidence. They've heard the screams, the 911 calls. Now this is going to make it, it's going to bring it down to a level of being almost tangible. You're going to be in the moment. You're going to walk through every single scenario to find out where the shooting occurred, where all the shell casings were, and knowing that this was a horrific mass murder.
Well, court will resume on Monday, and that does it for us right now. I want to thank Lisa and Joseph Scott Morgan for joining us on For the Record, and for all our viewers for tuning in. I'm Michelle Yu. Bob Bianchi is up next with the afternoon session. So much more to cover here on Law and Crime. Stay with us. We'll be right back.